Okay, greetings everyone. So today we are going to discuss the anatomy and the imaging modalities of the upper and lower extremities, as well as we will also tackle the arthritis, no? So medyo mahaba lang yung lecture, but bear with me, okay? Now, for the imaging anatomy of the upper extremities, now you have different types of fracture in terms of the upper extremity, no? Kahit naman sa lower extremity, you have different fracture. You have your transverse, spiral, oblique, and linear. Now, from the word itself, madali silang makita at maintindihan, no? Spiral, dahil shape ng spiral. Oblique, dahil nakatabingi. Okay, linear because of the linearity of the fracture itself. Transverse, of course, hindi siya along sa axis ng mismong extremity or the bone. Okay, now, your transverse fracture that is at the right angle to the bone long axis, no? That is your transverse fracture. Your oblique fracture that is diagonal to the bone's long axis. You have your spiral, which at least one part of the bone has been twisted, comminuted. You have a type of fracture in which the bone has broken into number of pieces. Now, your impacted fracture caused when bone fragments are divided, okay, are driven into each other per se, okay? Now, this is another example of your type of fracture is the incomplete, impacted, and the green stick, no? Tingnan ninyo. The incomplete, of course, from the word itself, incomplete. Example of impacted, nagsulpukan talaga sila. Okay? Impacted, basically. Green stick, hindi sila totally complete fracture, but merong isang side na hindi humiwalay. Okay? That is your green stick. Just like an old wood, no? Na nabale. Okay? Now, another example, you have your comminuted, like yung kanina natin. You have your Colles fracture involving the radius, no? And you have your compound fracture, which you will have an open wound as well. Okay? That is how it looks like. Now, for the adult bone, no, you have your diaphysis and metaphysis, okay? But for a child, you have a diaphysis, you have a metaphysis, and you have your epiphysis. And between your metaphysis and epiphysis, that is your physis or your growth plate. Now, bakit ko sinasabi ito? Kasi we have a Salter-Harris classification of fracture involving the tibia. Okay, your Salter-Harris classification, you have your type 1, you have your type 2, you have your type 3, 4, and 5. Okay, take note of the fracture nila. Now, what is this Salter-Harris? The point of location, okay, is the physis per se. Your type 1 is separation through the physis, usually through areas of hypertrophic and degenerating cartilage cell columns. So, nag-slip siya. Okay, your type 2 will be through a portion of the physis that extends through the metaphysis above siya. Okay, and your type 3 will be below of the physis. Your type 4 is a through and through fracture across the metaphysis, physis, and your epiphysis itself. And you have your type 5 or what you call yung ramming mismo, okay, ram, okay, crush injury to the physis itself. Okay, so these are your different types of Salter-Harris fracture involving the tibia. Okay. Now, let's now go to the upper and lower extremities. For the upper extremity, we will discuss the following bones, okay? And the lower extremities later on. Now, for scapula, of course, this is just a review. I know you are all familiar with this. You have your glenoid process, the spine, and coracoid process, okay? Your scapula is a flat triangular bone with 3 processes. Take note of this one, okay? Now, for scapula, this is how it looks like. Your scapula, oh, in drawing, you have your coracoid, subscapular, lateral border, okay? Your inferior angle, your spine of the scapula, okay? And this is the scapula looks like in X-ray, okay? You are all familiar with this na rin naman, okay? Now, and take note, of course, the anatomy. We can ask that question, okay? Now, for the scapular fracture, this is how it goes, no? Nakitang-kita namin kapag may mga fracture, okay? It can be an oblique, it can be a transverse, it can be a comminuted, no? Pwede. Nakikita namin yan. Kapag nagkaroon kasi ng scapular fracture, usually dislocated na rin ng shoulder, no? Hindi nila nagagalaw. Then minsan, and of course, because of fracture and trauma, you will have pain, okay? Now, for the clavicle, you are familiar with this then, no? The clavicle, for chest x-ray, clavicle overlies the lung apices. and the distance of the medial end of the clavicle and spinous process of the vertebra is equal on both sides unless patient is rotated. Okay, between sternoclavicular and acromioclavicular joints. Okay, so this is how it looks like your clavicle. So kapag may fracture dyan, kitang-kita din namin. Okay, now another example of your clavicle in chest x-ray. So that is how it looks like. And the specific anatomical structure niya. Okay, and characteristic. Now, the most commonly affected portion in clavicle, okay, is the middle third part of the clavicle. It can be either complete or incomplete fracture. So, pwede yun. Okay, so take note. Now, this is the middle third. Ganyan ang nangyayari. Lalo sa mga trauma, very, very common. And in x-ray, this is how it looks like. Okay. Now, this is the normal itsura ng clavicle and you have your abnormal na itsura ng clavicle. Okay. Another one. So, madali silang makita. Now, let's now go to your humerus. Humerus is the head of the humerus is separated from the greater and lesser tubercle by the anatomical neck. You have your bicipital groove, you have your surgical neck, you have your deltoid tuberosity, you have your capitulum, okay, you have your trochlea, and I know you are all familiar with this, no? So this is just a review, okay? Now, for the anatomical location, you have this, no? You have your proximal shaft, deltoid tuberosity, of course, where the deltoid muscle is attached, no? And your distal shaft of the humerus. Now, another example of the humerus, this is a long bone, okay? Pero syempre, pinakalong pa rin ng femur. Okay? So that, remember, no, pag-aralin niyo kung ano yung specific location, no? Anatomy naman yan eh. I know you are familiar with that. Sige. Now, for surgical neck, kapag may mga fracture kami sa humerus, okay, kitang-kita kaagad namin yan, no? Maraming klase, like yung kanya natin, it can be transverse again, oblique, spiral, no? Now, if there is some fracture like impacted, pag adduction, talagang hindi nila magagalaw yan. Sobrang pangit. Okay? Pag abduction, pwede silang mag-not impacted. So that is how it looks like. Okay? Kitang-kita yan pag nag-x-ray. Look at this, everyone. This is how it looks like kapag impacted yung fracture. And kapag not impacted, ganito siya. Humihiwalay mismo siya. Ito halos nakapasok. Talagang para siyang nag-ram. No? So ganyan ang itsura niya. Okay? Another example of your fracture, this one. Okay? Not impacted. So talagang humiwalay siya. Okay? Because of trauma. This one, you have impacted. Okay? Humiwalay na, no? Halos hindi mo na makita mismo yung surgical neck. Biglang parang yung head mismo, dumiretso na mismo dun sa may part ng metaphysis hanggang diaphysis. So pumasok mismo yung part ng bone, no, yung part ng humerus dun sa mismo, no? Nag-impacted talaga siya. So that is how it looks like. Okay? Halos di mo ma-identify yung greater, no? Now, another example, okay? This one. Ito naman example sa shaft na fracture. Okay? That is how it looks like. Okay, so we can identify them clearly. So this one part of the spiral fracture and displaced. Okay. This one is below the deltoid. This is how it looks like. An example, fracture, 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 fracture. Delikado lang sa fracture kasi kapag sharp talaga yung pinanggalingan na buto kasi it can injure the muscle. Kung ano yung tatamaan niya mga muscles. Okay. Now for the radius, this is a cylindrical head that is separated from the radial tubercle and the remainder of the shaft by the neck. The lower end is expanded. Most distal part is radial stylus. So this is your radius, no? This is your ulna. Okay? So anatomical location, anatomical characteristic. Familiarize yourself. Okay? Now let's go now to your ulna. Your ulna is the upper part of the ulna, which you call the olecranon. It's a hook shape with a concavity of the hook, which is your trochlear fossa anteriorly. Your styloid process at the distal end is narrower and more proximal than that of the radius. Okay? Take note of the difference between the two. Madali naman silang ma-identify talaga basically, you know, and their anatomical part. Dahil kasi malaki-laki sila, no? This is an example of AP view and the lateral view. Here you will appreciate the olecranon, the coracoid process, okay? The distal part and the proximal part, the head of the radius, okay, the neck of the radius, and the tuberosity. Now, For the forearm, this is how it looks like kapag kumuha kami ng x-ray. Here, makikita nyo pa rin yung distal end ng humerus, the radius and the ulna, okay? The wrist area and the hand, okay? Now, this one is the fracture, example of fracture ng ulna sa upper third. This is how it looks like. Okay? Kapag nag-fracture, kapag nag-move, tinan mo, nagkakaroon ng displacement. Okay? That is very, very painful. Okay? Here, another example, middle third of the radius and ulna. This is how it looks like, class. Okay? Yan, ganyan-ganyan itsura nila. Okay? Another example, ulna, lower third. This is how it looks like the fracture, na nagkakaroon displacement. Kaya kapag mga ganyang fracture, kailangan talaga silang stabilize. Hindi dapat nag-move. Kasi hindi yan mag-heal totally, no? Kapag displace. Kasi walang dudugtungan mismo. Or pwede magdugtong pero deformed mismo yung bone lang. Okay? Now, we have what we call a Montague fracture. Your Montague fracture, this is a fracture of the proximal third of the ulna with dislocation of the head of the radius. So, ang Montague, ang involved dito is the ulna. At meron displacement ng radius. Okay, the head of the radius. So, this is how it looks like. Fracture ng ulna, displace a radius. Okay? Now, we have also what we call the Galeazzi fracture. This is fracture naman sa radius, sa lower third naman siya. Yung kanina ulna, ito naman radius, sa lower third naman ito. This is what we call the Galeazzi. Okay? That is the component. Okay? Component consists of fracture of the distal third of the radius with dislocation of the distal radio-ulnar joint and an intact ulna. Dapat ang ulna mo intact. Okay? The Galeazzi's equivalent fracture is a distal radial fracture with distal ulnar physeal fracture. Okay. Now, example of your Galeazzi, radius ang involved na fracture, okay, and displace yung radio-ulnar joint ninyo. That is your Galeazzi. That is how it looks like, class, in X-ray. Now, we have what we call the Colles fracture. Your Colles fracture, this involves the radius as well. Okay? Now, this is a very common extra-articular fracture of the distal radius that occur as a result of fall into outstretched hand. Okay? So, nangyayari ito kapag naituon yung kamay, tapos naka-stretch yung kamay. No? Naituon niya, paghulog niya, naituon niya sa floor. Okay? And then nagkakaroon ka ng impact dun mismo sa distal radius. And that is how it looks like. Okay? They consist of a fracture of the distal radius, okay, in the metaphyseal region with dorsal angulation. Take note of that. You have a dorsal angulation and impaction without involvement of the articular surface. Okay? Yan yung itsura mismo ng Colles fracture. Minsan, pwedeng ma-involve yung styloid process ng ulna. Okay. Again, take note. Ang fracture ng Colles because of fall on the outstretched hand, okay, radius ang involved and you have a dorsal angulation and impaction of the radius. Okay. Now, this is your Colles fracture, another example. Okay, dorsal angulation, this is how it looks like in X-ray. Okay, involving the metaphyseal area of the radius. Okay. Now, we have what we call the Smith's fracture or reverse Colles. No? In Smith's fracture, also known your Goyrand. No? Yun yung other term niya. Okay, Goyrand fracture. No? Our fracture of the distal radius with associated volar angulation. Yung kanina yung Colles is dorsal angulation. This one is volar angulation of the distal fracture fragment. Now, classically, these fracture are extra-articular transverse fracture and pwede siyang maging taught na reverse Colles fracture. Okay? So, yan yung mismong itsura ng Smith's fracture. Volar ang involved, ang angulation niya. Compare mo sa Colles fracture. Okay? Now, this is another example of your Smith's fracture. Okay? Meron kang volar angulation. There you go. Okay? Pwede siyang mag-extend sa mismong joint area. Okay? Now, look, like for example, this one is dorsal angulation. This is your Colles. This one is volar angulation. This is your, okay, very good. That is your Smith's fracture. Now, this is an example of an X-ray of the wrist. No? This is the AP view, okay, and your lateral view. Okay? So dito nakikita namin lahat ng mga bones and we can clearly see if there is any dislocation or even fracture. However, may mga subtle talaga na minsan mahirap. Okay? Kaya nag-a-ask kami ng ibang view like oblique. Okay? And kapag hindi pa rin namin makita, we suggest for CT scan. Okay? Now, you have your carpal bones, no? These carpal bones are arranged into 2 rows of 4 each, no? Form an arc with its concavity situated anteriorly. You have your flexor retinaculum, converts the arc of bones into a tunnel. Okay? Diyan yung tinatawag natin na carpal tunnel, no? Yan yung nai-involve kapag may mga sakit ka or may mga lesion ka or meron kang pathology, what we call the carpal tunnel syndrome. It conveys the superficial and deep flexor tendons of the fingers and the thumb, except the flexor carpi ulnaris and your palmaris longus tendons. Take note of these two. And the median nerve, okay? Kasama siya sa tunnel. Radiography, radiograph into anterior-posterior, lateral, and even oblique positions. Okay, now you have also what you call the supernumerary bones found in the wrist. You have your os centrale found between the scaphoid, trapezoid, and capitate. Okay, may represent the tubercle of the scaphoid that has not fused with its upper bone. You also we also have this os radiale externum found on the lateral side of the scaphoid. Okay, distal to the radial stylode. And meron kang mga tinatawag na mga nutrient arteries of the scaphoid. Visible na visible sila. Kasi kapag mga nutrient arteries or vessel, sila is mga lucent area. So, this is an example of yung mismo all the bones, okay? And counterpart nila sa X-ray. So, we have different mnemonics para matandaan nyo sila. And also their location. Okay, take note of this. You have your scaphoid, your lunate, okay, your pisiform, your trichotron here, your hamate, and you have your hook of the hamate, the capitate, the trapezoid, and trapezium. So take note of their location. Now, let's go to your metacarpal and phalanges. You have 5 metacarpals numbered from the lateral to medial. No? Yun ang count from lateral going medial. The third metacarpal has a styloid process extending from its base on the dorsal aspect. Each metacarpal has rounded head distally, which articulates with proximal phalanx. And you have your phalanges, which is 14 in number. 3 for each finger and 2 for the thumb. Each has a head. Take note of that. Head, shaft, and a base. Okay, the distal part of the distal phalanx is expanded and we call it as a tuft. Okay. Now, this is an example of the view ng hand natin. Okay, you have your AP and you have your oblique view. Here, we can clearly see the whole metacarpal and the phalanges. We can visualize kung meron ba mga fracture. Kung may fracture, nakikita rin namin sila sa oblique. Another example of X-ray of the hand. Okay, here you will appreciate the phalanges and the metacarpals. Now, you have what we call the thumb or your Bennett's fracture. In the thumb, Bennett's fracture. This Bennett fracture is interarticular in nature. Dislocation of the first metacarpal, and you have a small fragment of the first metacarpal continues to articulate with the trapezium. Okay? That is your Bennett fracture. Now, another example of your Bennett fracture. May fracture siya sa base ng thumb. Now, you have your Rolando fracture. Your Rolando fracture is a comminuted intra-articular din siya. Same with your Bennett. Through the base of the thumb din, basically. Okay? The prognosis is worse than the Bennett's fracture. Okay? Hindi yan masyadong mamumove. At saka napakahirap nilang ibalik sa location. Okay? Difficult to reduce yan. Kailangan subspecialty talaga yung titingin kapag meron kang Rolando fracture. Again, this is a comminuted fracture. Now, we have what we call the Baxter's fracture. Your Baxter's fracture typically fractures in the transverse plane through the metacarpal neck with volar angulation of the distal fragment or spiral fracture, which are less common and can be harder to visualize. Okay? Ito, involved naman yung fifth. Okay? The metacarpal. Yan yung boxers. Nagbaboxing, no? Yan yung mismong pinaka-weak area. Yan yung nababali sa kanila. Common na common. Okay. Another example of your boxers fracture, this one, and this one, that one, and that one. Boxers fracture. Now, for the phalanges, you have your proximal phalanx fracture, okay? And you have your middle phalanx fracture, and sometimes meron ka magiging fracture ng mga distal phalanges. Okay, so example is this one. Example of the middle phalanx fracture is that one. Okay, that is how it looks like. Now, for phalanges, another example, your simple dislocation. This is a dislocated, not a fracture, but dislocation. Ito, na-dislocate ang middle at saka yung distal. Ito, na-dislocate naman yung distal. Okay? So, ganyan ang itsura nila. Now, let's now go to your shoulder or glenohumeral joint. This is a ball and socket synovial joint and articulate, no? You have your articular surfaces, the head of the humerus, your glenoid cavity of the scapula, and this involved, meron siyang synovium, ang component niya, and you have different ligaments. Okay? Now, an example of your standard AP view ng shoulder. That is how it looks like. Look at this. The glenohumeral area is intact and align sila. Okay, the distance, that is a good distance ng humerus pagdating sa glenoid and also sa ibang areas, adjacent structure. Okay, like your acromion, okay, and yung mismong line here, sobrang intact. Okay, walang dislocation. Now, for the anatomy, that is how it looks like, no? Identify this, the specific part. You have your greater tuberosity, surgical neck, force, no, the head of the humerus, acromion, coracoid, the glenoid, and the glenohumeral area. Okay, so intact, walang displacement. Ganyan ang itsura ng normal shoulder x-ray. Okay. Now, for scapular view, ginagawa namin to kapag meron kami mga subtle fracture and also subtle dislocation. Okay, for scapular Y view, makikita namin na well-aligned because of this. Oh, the scapula, well-aligned siya sa mismong humerus. That is how it looks like. That is the normal scapular Y view. And well-aligned yung pagka-Y ng scapula, the structure, okay, of the acromion and the coracoid, dun sa mismong humerus. That is scapular view. A scapular Y view. Okay. Now, example ng CT scan of the bone of the shoulder in axial view. That is how it looks like, the glenohumeral area. The glenohumeral area in coronal view. Okay. And the scapula, yung pinaka-Y niya, the coracoid and the acromion area. Okay. That is how it looks like. Another example in 3D in CT scan. That is how it looks like, class. Okay. Now, for shoulder dislocation, the most common is the anterior kasi meron tayong anterior and posterior dislocation. The most common is the anterior when arm is forcibly externally rotated and abducted. For AP film, humeral head lie inferiorly and medially to the glenoid. You have your posterior and difficult to diagnose. Okay, this AP film, normally humeral head slightly overlaps the glenoid, forming the crescent sign. Take note of the sign. In posterior dislocation, this crescent appearance is lost. Okay? Now, that is the difference between the two. But pag tinanong ko kayo, what is the most common? That is your anterior. The humeral head lie inferiorly and medially to the glenoid in AP film. Okay? At yung difference nila both sa AP film. No? I'll show it to you. This is the normal. This is the anterior dislocation, medially inferiorly dun sa glenoid. Okay? And this is your posterior dislocation. That is how it looks like. Take note of this. Tama yung greater. Dito, halos wala kang makitang greater. That is your posterior dislocation. Okay. Maganda yan minsan, makikita at makikita niyo. Look at this. The normal. Look at the alignment. Okay. And look at this. Your dislocation. Anterior dislocation. Okay. Another example. Ito severely anterior dislocated. No? Ito naman nag-scapular Y. Okay. View. At talagang hindi siya aligned, di ba? Yung pagkaway ng scapula, dapat nandito siya, pero ito, hindi. Your posterior dislocation, this is how it looks like. Look at the example, and look what happened here. That is your posterior dislocation. Nagsishape siya na parang bulb. Okay. Another one, look at this. posterior dislocation, okay, and scapular Y. That is how it looks like. Okay, para siyang bulb, no? Hindi siya naka-align mismo. Hindi siya naka-align din here. Okay? Now, let's now go to your elbow joint. Your elbow joint is a synovial hinge joint, incorporates the humero-ulnar and humero-radial, superior radio-ulnar joints as one cavity. Now, the articular surfaces are your trochlea, capitulum of the humerus, head and ulnar notch of the radius, and the trochlear fossa. You have your radial notch of the ulna as well. Now, for plain radiograph, no, effusions within the joint spaces, it can distend the capsule anteriorly and posteriorly. Dito ma-appreciate nyo rin, like what we've talked before, no? Fat pads anterior and posterior to the joint are displaced away from the joint by an effusion and become visible as linear lucencies that are separated by soft tissue densities from the bones on lateral radiograph. You have the anterior fat pad may be normally seen, and a posterior fat pad when seen is usually pathological. Kapag nakita niyo yung posterior fat pad, usually that is pathological. Ang anterior fat pad, pwedeng normal pa yan. Okay. Now, look at this. Here's an example, a standard view, lateral view, and AP view of the elbow joints. Okay? So here you will identify the bones and also the relationship dun sa mismong articular area nila. Okay? Kung saan sila nag-articulate. The anatomical characteristic of the elbow in AP view in X-ray. Okay. In lateral view, that is how it looks like. Okay. So familiarize yourself pagdating sa mga anatomical location nila in specific location. Okay? Para alam na alam ninyo. Okay? Now, you have your supracondylar. That is how it looks. Ito yung supracondylar na fracture, no? So displacement in adults usually forward. So ganyan ang itsura niya. Example sa elbow. Okay. Now, you have your posterior fat pad sign. This is how it looks like. Kapag nakita itong posterior fat pad sign, baka may nagtatago na fracture here. Okay? Kasi effusion yan. No? Usually, that is pathologic or abnormal. Compare mo sa fat pad ng anterior, nakikita at nakikita mo yan normally. Okay? Now, another example of fracture ng elbow. That is how it looks like. No? Kita-kita namin sila kahit sa AP view or lateral view. Okay. Normal anterior fat pad, but abnormal ang posterior fat pad. Now, let's now go to the lower extremities. Okay. For lower extremities class, this is an example ng AP view ng hip joints. Okay, you have your sacrum, you have your ilium, no? The pelvis mismo and the ilium area, okay? And you have your femur, the proximal part, the head, the tubercle, and the proximal area ng shaft mismo. Okay, so that is how it looks like and their anatomical characteristics. Okay, now for the bony pelvis and hip joint, no, you have your bony pelvis, a ring form. You are all familiar with this na. Alam na alam nyo na ito. You have your paired innominate bones composed of three parts, ilium, ischium, and pubis. You have your sacrum, coccyx, paired sacroiliac joints. You have your pubic symphysis, sacroiliac, symphysis pubis, and the hip joint, of course. We have the fovea capitis, where the ligament of the head of the femur is attached, and this is not covered in cartilage. Take note of that. The fovea capitis. Okay. Now we have different characteristics in plain radiograph. It relies mainly on AP view. You have what you call the Shenton's line. That is very important. Okay. A smooth curve running from the medial aspect of the femoral neck to the superior border of the obturator foramen. Take note of that. You also have your iliopectineal line and ilioischial line, which should also be smooth and symmetrical arc. Papakita ko mamaya. You have your posterior and anterior rims of the acetabulum and the acetabular teardrop. I will show it to you later then. Your collar's teardrop distance should be less than 11 millimeter, and there should not be a difference of more than 2 millimeter between those two sides. Take note of that. Okay? Now, This is what you call the Shenton's line glass. Yan. And this is your acetabular teardrop sign. Now, mini-measure namin is ito. No? Yung normal, remember, dapat less than 11 millimeters. And the Shenton's line dapat from the medial border ng neck ng femur hanggang sa superior area ng obturator. So, dapat yan ay hindi displaced like this one. Here's also an example of your iliopectineal line. Dapat yan is intact at walang displacement. The ilioischial line dapat intact and walang displacement. So, tinitingnan namin yan. Okay? The ilioischial line is here. Diretso hanggang teardrop the distance. You also have your sacral arcuate lines. No? Kapag na-disrupt ang mga line, meaning to say merong fracture and merong kang displacement. Okay? So, familiarize yourself to those different lines. Okay? Another example, look at this class. The Shenton's line, discontinuity. Ito yung lateral, dito yung medial neck, oh. And then hindi na siya dumugtong dito. Na-display siya. Compare mo sa kabila. This is normal. This is abnormal. Now, for general radiography, no, the lateral film is often required to rule out the subtle fracture of the femoral neck. You have what you call the frog lateral is sometimes obtained using the AP radiograph, which the hip abducted and externally rotated so that the knee is lying nearly on the tabletop. The frog lateral is particularly useful in assessing the femoral capital epiphysis in children and comparing on one side with the other. You have what we call also the Judeth's view or the oblique view, okay, of the acetabulum and pelvic inlet and outlet views in case of pelvic trauma. Okay, look at this. This is the example ng AP view, yung standard natin, and the frog lateral view. That is how it looks like. Kasi kapag may fracture dyan, makikita mo talaga na mayroon displacement sa alignment ng mismong hip joints. No? Example of the hip frog leg view. That, ito yung paano nila ginagawa. Nakaganyan. Now, for posterior dislocation, this is how it looks like. No? These are more commonly seen than anterior dislocation. Pag shoulder, ang common anterior dislocation. Kapag hip, ang common posterior dislocation. Okay. Now, you also what we call the anterior dislocation, ganito itsura nila. No? The head lies in front of the pubis or obturator foramen. Okay? This is how it looks like. The left hip is dislocated. Compare mo sa normal. Okay. Now, for imaging of the pelvis and hips, you have your ultrasound, CT scan, and MRI. No? For ultrasound, you can detect small amounts of fluid. Okay? And kita yan sa anterior surface ng femoral neck within the joint capsule is accessible to high-resolution scanning. Pero kapag mga fracture mismo, CT scan is the best. Okay? But MRI, usually pwede to, mas maganda rin to sa mga joint spaces. Kitang-kita kagad talaga yung mga joint spaces. Now, for anterior dislocation of the hip, look at that, and the posterior dislocation of the hip of the left. So, familiarize yourself sa difference nila. Now, we have different types of femoral neck fracture. Okay? You have your subcapital, kasi mismong nasa ilalim ng capitulum. No? You have your transcervical. You have your intertrochanteric. Okay? Kasi in between sa greater and lesser trochanter. You have your subtrochanteric. You have your fracture of the greater trochanter alone and fracture of the lesser trochanter alone. So these are your different fracture ng femoral. Okay? Ng area. Now, example. This is an example of your transcervical fracture, intertrochanteric fracture. Look at that. You have your subtrochanteric sa ilalim mismo ng trochanteric ng trochanter area. You have your greater trochanter lining fracture, and you have your solitary lesser trochanteric fracture. Okay? That is how it looks like. No? Madali naman sila makita. And the subcapital, ito kitang-kita. Oh. Nasa below mismo ng capitulum. Okay? Another example, your subcapital fracture. That is how it looks like. Another example, your transcervical fracture. Kitang-gitna mismo ng femoral neck. Okay, for the thigh, you have your femur. It consists of a shaft, neck, and head, which articulates with the acetabulum. Okay, now the patella is a flattened sesamoid bone within the quadriceps tendon. And take note, your patella is the largest sesamoid bone, huh? Don't forget that. Now, example of the femur, this is how it looks like in standard AP and lateral view. So we can clearly see them. Okay. For the shaft, kapag may fracture, kitang-kita namin. Kasi femur talaga visualize namin yan eh, no? We can clearly see kahit subtle na displacement. Pero there are some fracture na talagang mahirap. Okay. CT scan is the last imaging namin para ma-confirm namin kung may fracture ba o wala. Okay? Example of fracture ng spiral and the transverse. Now, example of supracondylar fracture, okay? Pagdating sa femur. Okay, the lower fragment is flexed with gastrocnemius and usually displaced sideways. Now, the knee joint is a modified hinge joint. This synovial joint is the largest in the body. Okay, the very big synovial joint in the body is your knee joint. It comprises of two condylar joints between the femoral and corresponding tibial condyles and saddle joint between the patella and the femur. The tibio-femoral compartments of each divided by the fibrocartilaginous meniscus. You have your medial meniscus, which is larger and more semicircular. Okay, take note of the difference. Huh? And lateral, which is smaller, thicker, and forms nearly a complete ring. So pag tinanong kayo, anong meniscus ang nearly complete ring? That is your lateral. The largest, that is your medial, or that's the more semicircular, that is your medial. Okay, take note of that. Now, the imaging of the knee in plain radiography is able to demonstrate the bony contours of the joint space. No, kapag may mga abnormal kami nakikita, we can ask for an skyline view. Okay, para makita namin if there's some abnormality in patella or kapag meron kami nakikitang lesion or suspected fracture or displacement, we ask for an skyline view. Okay. MRI is the most useful imaging technique. It demonstrates the joint cavity, the meniscus, ligaments, and articular cartilage. Again, most useful imaging technique pagdating sa mga meniscus, ligaments, and cartilages, even sa joint cavity. This dynamic scanning of the knee is also possible with modern scanners which allow assessment of patellar tracking. Okay? Ultrasound scanning may be used to assess the patellar tendon pagdating sa mga collateral ligaments, meniscal and popliteal cyst. Even mga effusions pwede naman talaga. Example of knee, standard view, okay, ng AP and lateral view. That is how it looks like. Okay. Skyline view, yan. Kitang-kita namin kapag meron displacement, okay, and kapag meron mga fracture. Here we will also visualize the articular surfaces and the patella surface in the femur, the medial and the lateral condyle. Example ng fracture, no? Tibia broken into many fragments. This is how it looks like. No? And another example ng fracture. This type of fracture is shattered, no? Talagang basag. Ito naman, shearing type of fracture. Displacement, trivial, or gross. Okay, this is how it looks like in gross. Okay, image. Now, we also have your patellar fracture or displacement. Look at this. Dito, I don't know if you can clearly see, pero look at the patella. This is the upper part of the patella and this is the inferior part of the patella. No? Tamo, meron distance sila. Kasi ang patella nag-fracture, pero mas maganda sila makita sa lateral view. So, kitang-kita ninyo yung fracture. Okay. Another example ng patella. Standard AP view and lateral view. Look at that. Another example. Ito naman, patellar dislocation in skyline view. You have your increased distance from the patellofemoral space and ito naman dislocation. Okay, na-displace. Dapat nandito siya, di ba? Na-displace siya here on this side. Okay. This is an example of MRI of the knee. Look at that, class. We can clearly see the joints, the fats, okay? The posterior cruciate ligament, the anterior cruciate ligament, we can clearly see them. Even the muscles, we can clearly see. Okay? Yun yung beauty ng MRI pagdating sa mga joint spaces. And of course, visualize namin yung mismong bone din. Pero fracture ang hirap i-identify dyan. Okay? Pero yung bone, nakikita naman namin yung mga nutrients within the bone itself. And also the patella here. Ito yung quadriceps tendon. Infrapatellar tendon is this one. Okay. Now, the lower leg. Your lower leg is your tibia and fibula. No? Malaking-malaki naman sila. And the joint spaces, you have your superior tibiofibular and inferior tibiofibular. Okay? You also have different muscles attached dun sa mismong bones natin. So an example of your AP and lateral view of the tibia and fibula. Tibia, fibula, and lateral view. You have your tibia and fibula in AP view. Okay. Now, another example in standard AP and lateral view. Okay. Now, example, tibia and fibular fracture. That is how it looks like, no? Kapag pareha sila na fracture. Minsan, na-fracture lang ang tibia alone, minsan that fibula lang alone. Okay? Pero minsan, na-fracture sila both in cases of vehicular accident. Okay? Now, that is how it looks like. Okay? Another example is spiral type of fracture in tibia and fibula. This one and that one. Another example of your comminuted fracture. Okay. Now, for ankle joint, no, dito natin ginagamit yung Salter-Harris na diniscuss ko kanina. If you can still remember, no? The ankle joint, yan yung component. Ito yung example ng aming AP view and the lateral view. Okay. You have your medial malleolus, the lateral malleolus, which is part of the fibula, no? The dome of the talus, yan. Okay. The tibiotalar joint space, this is where it is located. Okay. And the inferior tibiofibular joint. Okay. Now, again, example for standard AP view, this is how it looks like, class. Okay. Fibula. Tibia, fibula. Okay. And the part na ng foot bones, no? You have your talus, okay, calcaneus, okay, navicular, dito na siya. Okay. Now, you have your ankle fracture, the medial malleolus. Ito yung example niya. Okay, kapag napa-fracture, because of trauma. Okay, that is how it looks like. Kitang-kita namin sila. Okay. Another example, ito naman, fracture ng lateral malleolus involving the fibula. Okay, that is how it looks like, class. Okay. Now, for the foot, this is the standard view for AP and your oblique. Okay, so dito nakikita namin the tarsals and the phalanges. Okay, and also, yung mismong tarsals and metatarsals and the phalanges. No? Kitang-kita namin kung mayroong mga fracture dyan. Kung may fracture sa involving the talus, navicular, the cuboid. No? Kitang-kita namin sila. Okay, so take note of the location of the bones. Okay, kung saan sila makikita via X-ray. No? Is yung standard natin na AP and your oblique view. Here you will appreciate the talus, the calcaneus, the cuboid, the navicular, okay, and the three cuneiforms, the metatarsals, and the phalanges. Also, ito. Okay, so kita namin dyan with that view kung mayroong mga displacement and fracture. Okay, now foot, this is a standard view in lateral. No? Here makikita namin the calcaneus, part of the talus, the navicular, the cuneiform. No? Cuboid kasi is ito. Okay, nasa kabilang side din, no? Your metatarsals and the toes na, the phalanges. Now, so with that, kitang-kita namin kapag may mga abnormality, displacement, kahit mga foot drop or yung mga flat foot, no? Kitang-kita namin. Okay? So, ba't namin ina-assess ang mga bones? Kasi there's a lot of diseases accompanied with bone lesions, no? Especially mga systemic lupus erythematosus, if you're familiar with that, no? Arthritis or osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. Okay? The best image talaga, initial is X-ray. Following, pinakamaganda for fractures and bone densities and whatnot is CT scan. But if you want to assess the joint spaces in terms of rheumatoid arthritis, mga joint spaces, those kind of pathology, isa sa mga best is MRI. Okay, so pag tinanong kayo, good for fracture, X-rays, good for CT scan, no? Good for joint spaces, ligaments, tendons, no? Rheumatoid arthritis, effusions, maganda is MRI. Okay. Now, let's now go to the arthritis, okay, and the bone lesions. Okay. Now, for bone lesions, we have different bone lesions. You have your giant cell tumor, non-ossifying fibroma, metastasis, multiple myeloma, aneurysmal bone cyst, osteosarcoma, and Ewing sarcoma. So there's a lot, but you need to give time to remember this. Okay? Study them. Okay? Now, giant cell tumor is generally benign. 98% usually they are involved sa kanya is the epiphyseal plate fusion. Okay? The potential for malignancy, recurrence, and pulmonary metastasis. But generally, they are benign. Okay? Location, 85% is you can see them in long bones. Lower extremity is the most common, usually about the knee. Okay? Distal femur is more common than proximal tibia. Distal radius is more common than proximal humerus. Upper extremity usually is away from the elbow kung makakakita ka ng mga GCT or mga giant cell tumor. Okay? 15% usually lang dun sa mga flat bones. So, hindi sila usually nakikita dyan. Lagi sila sa long bones. And pinaka-common palagi pag long bones, lower extremity. Okay? Now, you have 4 classic radiograph criteria. Close epiphysis, lesion must be epiphyseal and above the articular surface. Pag tumitingin tayo ng mga bone cell tumors or lesions, okay? Eccentrically located ba sila or hindi? Do they have a sharply defined border or wala? Okay, may transition ba or wala? May sclerotic part ba yung bone lesion or wala? Okay, those are the things na tinitingnan namin kapag gusto namin identify kung ano ba yung bone tumor or lesion na nakikita namin. Okay, so this is an example of your giant cell tumor. Okay, that is how it looks like. Okay, well-defined lytic lesion without sclerotic margin. Take note, abutting the articular surface of the distal femur in patient who has a closed epiphysis. Okay, take note of that. Huh? Epiphysis, closed epiphysis. Okay, and lytic lesion usually with no sclerotic border or margin. Okay. Now, let's now go to your non-ossifying fibroma or NOF. Fibrous cortical defect, usually less than 2 cm, and non-ossifying fibroma is usually more than 2 cm. This example of lesion is siya sa part na do not touch lesions, no? Kasi may mga do not touch lesions, may mga lesions na hindi mo na kailangan pakialaman or wala ka nang kailangang intervention. All you have to do is just observe them, okay? Because they are benign. They are benign and they are asymptomatic. This resolves also spontaneously and most commonly seen about the knee, but can occur in any long bone. Okay, they are well-defined lytic lesion in the medial metaphysis usually. Okay, now again, this is an example of do not touch lesion. Isa siya. Okay, your non-ossifying fibroma. Another example of non-ossifying typically occur in the metaphysis of long bone emanating from the cortex. No, nasa cortical siya. Thin sclerotic border. Yung GCT kanina, walang sclerotic margin. Ito meron. Usually, pwede rin siyang scallop and slightly expansile. Okay. Now, another example of NOF, well-defined lytic lesion, usually is minimally expansile in example nito in the distal tibia. And distal tibia. Pero ito merong sclerotic area. Unlike mo dun sa GCT, wala. Okay. Now, for metastatic disease of the bone, should be considered for any lytic, benign or aggressive in appearance in patients over 40 years of age. Most metastatic disease has an aggressive appearance but can have any radiographic appearance. No? If expansile lytic metastasis, differential diagnosis are your renal cell CA and your thyroid CA. Okay, again, kapag mga lytic ang met sa bone, usually sila yung may renal CA and thyroid CA. That is their representation. Okay? Only metastatic lesion that is always lytic, your renal CA. Prostate cancer metastases are nearly always osteoblastic. They are blastic, not lytic. Okay? Take note of the difference. Now, example of metastatic disease of the bone, well-defined lytic lesion in proximal femur. That is how it looks like, guys. Okay? Patient with renal CA, look at that. Yan ang mismong lytic lesion. What you call the soap bubble appearance in the proximal radius. Expansile. Okay? And lytic sila. Okay? This is an example of 54-year-old female with lung cancer. No, look at that. Lytic process involving the distal metaphyseal or epiphyseal portion of the tibia. Okay, ito naman, lung cancer, lytic ang presentation niya. Pwede rin blastic, pero kapag lytic, ano lang ang question? Common dyan lagi renal CA. Pero pwede rin mag-present ang lung CA ng lytic, pero lytic or blastic pwede sila pag lung CA. Okay. Another example with prostatic CA, look at that. Ito naman, ano sabi kanina kapag prostatic CA, they are osteoblastic. Presentation niya blastic, not lytic. Tignan niyo, pumuputi-puti. Okay? Ang lytic, they are black. No? Lucent sila. Pero kapag blastic, pumuputi-puti yung bone. The density, unequal, no? Heterogeneous. That is your blastic metastasis from the prostate cancer. Okay? Now, you have what we call the myeloma. Okay? Mga myeloma natin, class, is malignant proliferation of plasma cells derived from a single clone. Collections of abnormal plasma cells accumulate in bone marrow where they interfere with production of normal blood cells. Okay? Most commonly present as a diffused permeative process in the skeleton. Okay? Can be present either in solitary lesion or pwede ring multiple or lytic lesions. Okay? So, anong example nito? Anong example nito? You have a large, well-defined lytic lesion in the left ilium. So, pwede silang magkaroon ng lytic representation ang myeloma. Okay? Look at that. Sa bone, kita ninyo parang uka-uka, no? You have different holes, no? Lytic sila pagdating sa skull. Look at that. Okay, this is an example representation. Shows a typical presentation of multiple myeloma in skull with multiple small holes throughout the calvaria and well-defined sila. That is an example, a case of multiple myeloma. Okay? Now, let's now go to the aneurysmal bone cyst. Virtually always aneurysmal are expansile. Okay, bone cyst sila. Primarily occur in patients less than 30 years old. Fluid levels in CT, MRI, and typically present because of, take note, pain. Sila ang may pain per se. No? Can occur anywhere in the skeleton. Yung GCT and usually yung NOF, they are painless. But in aneurysmal bone cyst, you have pain. No? Often occur in posterior elements of the spine. Now, this is an example of your aneurysmal bone cyst. No? Kapag nakakita kayo ng mga lytic, tapos wala silang pain, and alam nyo sila GCT or non-ossifying fibroma, cortical ang defect niya, usually benign sila. But once you see this kind of lesion and then iniindang or nagko-complain ng patient ng pain, ang cyst lang, ang lesion lang sa bone na nagkakos ng pain, okay, na mga incidental finding is your aneurysmal bone cyst. Okay? There are expansile lytic lesion in distal femur in patient with pain. Okay? Example of your aneurysmal bone cyst, your fluid. Mayroong light density, may heavy density. So both of them are fluid. It's just so happen na may mga proteinaceous content, no? May mga debris. Kaya fluid. There are expansile lesion involving the posterior elements of the several fluid levels. Ito involved dito is the vertebra. Okay? Ito naman is foot in axial view. Okay? So that is your fluid leveling in MRI or your aneurysmal bone cyst. Okay? Now, another example of your aneurysmal bone cyst, parang non-ossifying fibroma, no? However, again, ang complaint ng patient is with pain. Okay? It's a well-defined expansile lesion is seen in the mid-shaft of the ulna in patient with pain. Okay? Now, let's now go to your osteosarcoma. It's the most common primary malignant bone tumor, can be seen in children and young adults in 30 years old and typically occurs towards the end of a long bone. It may occur anywhere in the skeleton and usually they are destructive with sclerosis. Okay? Now, this is how it looks like. Para kang wala kang masyadong defined border, no? Expansile and para kang irregular border, parang sunburst appearance, no? Mixed lytic and sclerotic lesion in proximal tibia. That's an example of your osteosarcoma. Okay. Another example, densely sclerotic lesion in the proximal tibia. Osteosarcoma din yan. So, pwede silang lytic at pwede ring sclerotic area. Pumuputi sila. Okay? Now, let's now go to your Ewing sarcoma. Your Ewing sarcoma, classically a permeative or multiple small host lesion in the diaphysis of a long bone in a child. Only about 40% of these tumors occur in the diaphysis and remainder are metaphyseal and diaphyseal and in flat bones. They tend to occur primarily in children and adolescent. Okay? Now, the significant number occur in patients in their 20s, especially in flat bones. Take note of that. It can elicit reactive new bone and partially sclerotic or patchy in appearance sila, ang Ewing sarcoma. You have what you call the onion skin type of periostitis. Nagkakaroon siya ng reaction sa periosteum, called your onion skin type, and can also have a periostitis that is sunburst-like or amorphous. No? So, para siyang osteosarcoma, no? Irregular. So, papakita ko sa inyo. Look at that. That is an example of your Ewing sarcoma. Example of Ewing sarcoma. Okay. Now, pagtatanong nyo, anong difference nila? Basically, mahirap silang i-difference siya osteosarcoma. No? Kasi both sila sarcoma talaga technically. So, pinapakita ko lang sa inyo kung anong pwede niyang itsura. So, isa sa mga differentials ito kapag nag-i-entertain kayo ng cancer. Okay? Now, predominantly sclerotic process with large amount of sunburst periostitis in the diaphysis area. This is an example of your Ewing sarcoma. Okay? Now, let's now go to the last topic, your arthritis. Okay? Here, we will discuss the osteoarthritis, your rheumatoid arthritis, and gout arthritis. Now, take note of this class. Your osteoarthritis, okay, the most common arthritis, believed to be caused by trauma, either overt as an accumulation of microtrauma over years. The hallmark is DJD, okay, or your degenerative joint disease. Take note of this class, ha? Kasi tinatanong ito. Okay, you have your joint space narrowing, you have your sclerosis, and you have your osteophytosis or osteophytes formation. Again, tinatanong ito. If all three of these patients are not present on radiograph, another diagnosis should be considered. Okay, the joint space narrowing is the least specific finding of the three, yet it is virtually always present. No? Sclerosis and osteophytosis are diminished in osteoporosis. Can occur in any joint in the body but is particularly common in hands, knees, hips, and spine. Okay? Usually, nagkakaroon ka ng osteoarthritis, nakikita rin dito kahit sa mga systemic lupus erythematosus. Trust me, sa mga SLE, nakikita rin sila, especially mga joint spaces na involved. So again, kapag mga nakikita natin is mga involved is mga joint spaces, pwede tayong magkaroon ng problem dito. Okay? Sa mga SLE patients, no? Mga arthritis, no? Pwede involve yung both hands, pwede involve yung both knee, ganun. Okay? Nagpe-pain sila. Again, sa mga SLE. Okay? Plain film of finger osteoarthritis, this one, distal phalanx, look at that. That is how it looks like. Ito naman sa hip. No? Nagna-narrow joint spaces, may sclerotic ka, and you have mga osteophytes. No? Mga osteophytes yan. Mga extra, tumutulis yung areas ng bones, yung cortical area. Okay? Another example, nagna-narrow yung joint spaces, nag-sclerotic, no? And you have narrowed. Again here, may mga osteophytes ka, may mga extra na tumutulis, no? Yung mga bones natin. Okay? So that is how it look like, no? This is an example of a young woman who is professional dancer, complained of a left-sided hip pain. The anteroposterior film of pelvis demonstrated a sacroiliac joint sclerosis, which is irregularly, and you have your erosions, no? So, a complete workup to rule out any human leukocyte antigen, no? So, mga related yan sa mga spondyloarthropathy, sa mga SLE, no? So, kaya kasama ang osteoarthritis, no? Sa mga lupus, okay? So, take note of that, okay? Now, another example, okay, sa bones. Cervical, and lumbar area. So look at that. Nag-sclerotic and nagnanarrowed yung mga joint spaces. And you have your osteophytes or mga spurs sa bone, no? Mga extra. Tumutulis sila, no? Nagiging pointed sila. Okay? Now, let's now go to the next topic, your rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis class is a connective tissue disorder of unknown etiology that can affect any synovial joint in the body. Now, radiographic hallmarks of rheumatoid arthritis are soft tissue swelling, osteoporosis, joint space narrowing, and marginal erosions. Again, tinatanong ito. Okay? In the hands, it is classically a proximal process that is bilaterally symmetric. Okay? Has a large variety of appearances. From its radiographic appearance alone, it can be very difficult to diagnose with any degree of assurance. Rheumatoid arthritis in large joint causes marked joint space narrowing and is associated with osteoporosis. Erosions might or may not be present and tend to be marginal ang kanilang erosions. No? Look at this. This is how it looks like. This is an example of your erosive osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis affecting primarily the carpal bones and the metacarpophalangeal bones seen in associated osteoporosis and soft tissue swelling. Usually, they are bilateral and symmetric in process. Look at that. No? Mga joint spaces narrowed. Okay, may mga sclerotic area ka. That is how it looks like kapag rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, again, tinatanong pa rin ang rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, example, rheumatoid arthritis in specific location. This is how it looks like, class. Okay. Another example, yung mga Bottinger deformity, nagdi-deform yung mga joint spaces, no? Kakaroon pati ng mga erosions, mga isolated. No? That is your rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. Now, let's now go to the last topic. So, alam niyo na ha, osteoarthritis or mga arthritis na yan, nakikita yan sa mga lupus, no? Nakikita yan, no? Rheumatoid arthritis, you know na. Remember the hallmark and ang itsura nila. And then last is gouty arthritis. Usually, the gouty arthritis are metabolic disorder that results in hyperuricemia and leads to deposition of monosodium urate crystals in various sites in the body, especially in the joint cartilage. It takes 4 to 6 years for gout to cause radiographically evident disease, and most patients are treated successfully long before the destructive arthropathy. Of course, usually it can lead to gouty arthritis and not commonly encountered. No? Look at this, class. The classic radiographic findings is well-defined erosions, often with sclerotic borders or overhanging edges. The term overhanging edges. Soft tissue nodules can calcify and appear in the presence of renal failure, what you call the tophi, and random distribution in the hands without marked osteoporosis. Ang may osteoporosis is the rheumatoid, no? Ito walang marked osteoporosis technically. Okay, meron pwedeng kaunti kapag old age na, pero usually hindi ganun kapag mga bata. Kasi gout arthritis pwedeng umag-occur sa mga 40s basically. Gout typically affects the metatarsobphalangeal joint in the great toe. Usually great toe na involved dyan, no? Look at this. Sharply marginated erosion with an overhanging edges. That is how it looks like. And sclerotic margin. Okay? That is a gouty arthritis. Okay? Example, look at this. This is an example of your advanced gout. No? Ito sa left. Okay? Yeah, no? Look at that, class. That's very, very painful. No? Destructive, large, well-marginated erosion, some with overhanging edges. Focal areas of soft tissue swelling are called tophi. Okay, this is your tophi. Okay? That is your overhanging edges. And the classic presentation of gout. Okay? Now, the hallmarks of gouty arthritis, take note, tinatanong ulito. Well-defined erosions, soft tissue nodules, you have random distribution, and no osteoporosis. Okay? Take note of that. Again, tinatanong yan. Okay? Palagi yan tinatanong hanggang sa residency ninyo. Hanggang sa maging full-fledged doctor kayo. So, thank you for listening and good luck sa inyong board exam. Good luck sa inyong midterm exam. Okay? Thank you and see you next meeting na after your midterms. Goodbye.